as you saw from my last video about event preparation, my Thanksgiving party went great. How does it look?
It looks amazing.
It looks great. It's beautiful.
So, I win. That's the end. Have a happy holidays. But
Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
yeah, I've got some explaining to do. Today, I am doing R&R, actually RR&R, rest, relaxation, and reflecting on how that day went. There's definitely a few things that I would do differently. For example, I actually decided to purchase the entire Thanksgiving meal, almost, except for the noodles, from Whole Foods. So, all we have to do is warm it up in the pots back here, put it in the serving dishes, and we're good to go. I've got it timed out that we started 2 hours ahead of time, and that's mostly just for the turkey and some setup, and then everything else will be in the last 30 minutes, and that's all I have to do. And I feel like that's an illPOWER genius moment, is what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds pretty nice.
It's pretty good. So I'll show you what we got. Yeah, preparation is the key. And I definitely did everything that I could do. I made my lists, I spaced things out, I worked my activities over the span of a few weeks, and I even thought I had the day planned pretty well. As you can tell in the video, I felt really great before the dinner started. I even felt great through the dinner and for a little while after dinner. But one of the things I didn't realize is the intricate dance that had to happen on the stove for 6 side dishes to get reheated. It was definitely not as easy as I thought. I've got a 4-burner stove with one in the middle that can sort of be used, but not really when you have a giant pot of mashed potatoes and a giant pot of noodles taking up so much room. I was definitely standing at the stove for way longer than my normal threshold period and had to stop and double brace up in order to get through the rest of the cooking. So we had the turkey in the oven with the green bean casserole and the stuffing. We could have added a couple of the other dishes to reheat to the microwave first, put them in the oven-safe dishes, and put them in with the turkey. That would have cleared off some of the stovetop and prevented so much of the stirring and arm action that I had to do to get things warmed up. This was really great catered food, you guys. It was from Whole Foods. I'm sure you can get it done from your local grocer. I still think it's a really great idea for those of us with illPOWER and super intelligence to know we probably can't cook an 8-course meal for 10 or 15 people. I think it's a great idea. But it was really great food. The mashed potatoes were legit real potatoes. I wasn't expecting them to be so tight and to have to actually be whipped. And the same with the sweet potatoes. I definitely think it's best to reheat on the stove. It's much more fresh, you can add your own spices, and it's still a lot less cooking than you would have to do otherwise. Just because we have chronic pain and illness does not mean that we can't host a dinner party. And that's the main point that I want to make here. Because for sure, we can do it. But today, as I'm reflecting back, again, like I said, there are some things I want to change. So I want to make sure you guys have those tips and pointers as well. So a little bit of change in the way that we reheat the food. And also, I forgot about the drinks. So listen, it was fairly simple and I really wasn't that worried about it. I was going to have ice water on the table just like we do at a restaurant. I was going to have a large ice water out for guests as they were having appetizers. Then I was going to do a tea and a fresh lemonade. Didn't seem like a big deal. Well, one of the things I forgot to put on my list was to make sure we had ice. So we didn't have as much ice as I would have liked. And do you know how to make fresh lemonade? It might not be one of the things you do as an illPOWERed person. it might be better to have a mix. But I like to try to keep things natural, and the way you have to make homemade lemonade is on the stove. So I already had all of these other things going, and I realized, oh my gosh, I've got to boil the sugar water and the lemons for the lemonade. So I really put myself in a pickle as far as that goes. I really didn't get every single detail of the day planned. And because of that, I struggled. Just make sure you have everything down on that list that you can possibly think of. Do it as thorough as you can. If you make mistakes like I did, no big deal. You kept your list. Change it. Do it better next time. That's the only thing we can do. But we just have to remember we can do it. So for the sake of saving some of your energy, I recommend making the drinks the night before. If you're thinking you need to store them in the fridge and you don't have room, you can put them in a cooler and just store them there for the night. If it's wintertime, like if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas and you live in a cold area, you can even just sit them out on your back porch and keep them cool enough so that the next day you can put them in ice and serve them. It's not a big deal, but it is if you forget at the last minute. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about. The mess. Right? It has to be dealt with. So, first of all, my children are grown. I don't have anything in my house for small children. It's not safe exactly for small children. So, as you saw in the last video, I did go around and make sure things were fairly safe. But I did still have 7 and 8-year-old nieces tempted by that physical therapy room. Look at this place. It looks like a playground. Kids come over here and freak out. Like, it's basically jungle gyms. But to distract them from all of this, what I plan to do is use this whole middle part as a little fun gaming area. Throwing a bunch of pillows everywhere, making it look like a fun and cozy place, and then just setting out a bunch of games for them to play. So yeah, I had a plan, and I thought it was a pretty good plan. It wasn't going to be that many hours that these kids were going to be up before bedtime and after dinner. Literally, it was like only 3 hours. 3 hours, that's it. But, as you can see, they put their hands on every piece of equipment in that room. And I'm telling you, everything went for a ride on the inversion table and the treadmill. But that's okay. I'm glad they had a good time. But what I didn't do was make anybody clean the mess up. I didn't want them to have to worry about it. I really wasn't that concerned with it. But here we are a few days later, and we're still running across giant Jenga blocks. But I will say, I had a lot of help cleaning up immediately after the dinner. The husbands, God bless their souls, Jim and my brother Ryan and my son Gage, all pitched in and cleaned up the kitchen. It was so awesome. Check them out. And this is the other reason things get done around here. Is this how things get done, you guys?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
This is how you illPOWER right here. The men in the family. Getting it done.
We gotta earn our keep around here.
Woo!
I got fed, now it's time to do some work. Definitely got fed.
It was so good to know that I could just sit back and relax, because as soon as I got a little bit of food in my tummy and some good conversation, and we had the candlelight flickering from the dinner, my body shut down. It shut down, and it's been shut down for a few days. But luckily, they cleaned up. My sister-in-law did a great job of helping them put the food in containers and get it put away. And we all pitched in the next morning to clean up some more things after we had breakfast. But the truth of the matter is, when you have illPOWER, you've got to spread things out. And I didn't make a plan for the cleanup. I just figured, it'll get taken care of, right? But I have a little bit of anxiety when it comes to living in messes. I'm just not very good at it. So while I did learn to live in the mess, which is so important when you have chronic pain and illness, I did sort of push it in doing the cleanup as well. So here I am on day 4 of RR and R. Rest, relaxation, and reflection. Mostly just rest and relaxation. I don't know what your chronic pain or illness entails, but mine affects my muscles and connective tissue. So the extra activities really did put quite a bit of a hurting on my body, even though I did my best to spread out the work. So just know that you can have a really beautiful and successful event in your home just like you used to do. It just takes a little bit of extra help and planning. And next year I'm probably going to do it a little bit different, and I'll let you know how that goes. Or maybe I'll try something different at Christmas here in the next month or so, and I'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, make sure you're always checking the illPOWER channel for new stuff, because I'm here to help you. Thanks for watching illPOWER.